This is Justin on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. Taking a look at the SPX 3 minute. We had a really strong open and then just continued to run. We didn't have any bearishness come in, even just a bear candle for a little bit. We'll come back to this candle because this was a little bit of a rest inside candle. We're going to take a look at that in the option. But we just kept running and then we really stayed in just about this range, like where that bull candle kind of finished, that last big one there. We pretty much stayed in that range for a while. It was really interesting. And I'll highlight this again. The low of that candle is right about where that hammer came down to, the hammer right here. That came through the 10 and then still bounced, pushed up a little bit higher, but that was about it. So like this was the major move to be in right out the gate. Well, I was talking about we should know yesterday. I was saying we should know right away if we're going to have a bearish day. Like if we gap down and we start selling down, it'd be a single bull candle. But if something else happens, we, probably end up bullish, is what I was thinking. But you didn't have to buy calls yesterday to be ready for this morning. You could have just gotten into it first thing, like had an order ready pre-market to just get filled, not even knowing exactly what the price would be. We'll look at that too. And then, like I said, with this hammer coming back to a previous significant level, like this was, I mean, we just sat in this range and then we bounced right out of there with that low, made a move with 3 candles here, about the same as we made with that candle. We had some reversal signals here with the hammer here. We came right back with some retesting back up into that hammer's range. And then we didn't quite get 4 candles, but 3, close enough, rolled back down. This is right about 50% of that initial move right out the gate. About 50%, just depends on how you draw the fib. I was drawing from this line up to here. That bull move, if you draw it to here, you get the bear candle sitting there. If you draw it to the hammer, the very top here, okay, we came back down through the 50%. So it's just a matter of how you draw it. Like I would say, yeah, that's the bull move. Like that's the opening bull move. Took half an hour or so for it to happen. Yeah, 30 minutes for that to happen. Came right back down and retested. So that was a great level to just look for. Hey, I'm just going to set up an order and buy halfway through that, or be watching for that, where you can set up an options trade. And but you didn't even have to play that one to be in this thing. But yeah, there were some good opportunities to roll this back down, some good opportunities later. We had some other really good bounces. We had some consolidation through here that continued higher. This was just chop. This looked like it was just going to die. And then this candle came in. It's like, okay, it's going. Nope. Totally retested. Okay, it's going. Nope. That continued to bounce. We did come right back down to this level here with that lower wick. That was the rally at the end of the day. So really bookended with some rallies. We had a really nice, strong half-hour rally here and a really nice, strong, like 45-minute rally here. Obviously, this one was smaller, but we actually made a new high. We kept making, let's see, from there to there, a slightly lower high here, lower high here, higher high here, and then took that out at the close. So we had some strength going into the close. Not a shaved top. We definitely, I think that's a shaved open candle. The open and the low, no, they're not. No, wait, they are. I was looking at the high. Yep, the open and the low are the same price, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so here is the 3,800 call. Now you didn't know what kind of strength we would have coming in, but the low on this was 0.75. So you could have easily had a $1 risk order just set up, ready to go. And then I noticed there's a bunch of like pre-market prices. And so it looks like you could have actually set up an order to buy at $1 or even buy less than $1 pre-market. I got to look at this and make some sense of this, because it looks like you can trade the SPX options before 8:30, but it looks like it's cut off 8:12. So I think you can trade up till 8:15 Central Time, and then it kind of blocks it out. But still, even at that point, you easily could have gotten in for $1 down here, or even less than that. knowing that the price was here. So like if we look back at yesterday's price on this option, it was really, really low down to about, what is the close here? 15. So 15 bucks there. And then it rallied nicely and went all the way up from 15 up to 250, right? So that's a 240. So that's a nice gain. And then it came all the way back down to under $1 or 100 bucks. So yeah, like if you anticipate, hey, we've got a nice gap up, what's the option that's decently priced but far away? What's that doing? And just buy one for $1 and flip it out at $8. Like that's a nice setup, but you could have been actually getting into that or anticipating that um, pre-market, which is pretty cool. So that was a nice rally there. This is what I was saying. We could come back to this candle. So even if you didn't get into the pricing here, this candle was a resting candle. It was, let's see, an inside candle on the option. This could have been set up like a 10 EMA where you're getting in above this or just buying it, like buy at 150 and a stop at 0.5, and then get out at as that's rallying like half hour later or whatever later, and you're up. Well, not whatever later, because it did actually come down and back into the dollar range later in the day. So, but you know what I mean? Like, get into this when you have a bearish candle coming in, just buy the bearish candle or buy the next candle after it. It would not have worked to buy at 150, but still would have worked to set up an order to buy at 2, and then just flip it out, like buy it 2, sell it 3. There's your trade for the day. Or buy it 2 and double it to 4. There's another trade. Like you really, with the bullish move that we had, just buying anywhere along this rally, ideally buying with a small, a small amount here on this option. But the other options, like 38.25, had not as big of a move, but they had a smaller. The option was gaining value at a slower pace. So there's other things out there to get into. Look at the 37.50 put, because this got crushed. This ended the day, or it started the day really high, and then as we were rallying and going sideways, this was just losing so much value until you got into those like 3 candles there where it put in this low around like $2. Like you really could have done, or even 150. So you could have done the same kind of setup where you're buying really low, not quite $1 risk, not quite that dollar entry, but even as this starts to turn up, like there were opportunities to buy this at 2 and a stop down at 1, kind of bracketing these candles. Because I mean, the probability is on your side at this point. Is it really going to push higher here? It's put in some lower highs, some higher lows. Like this looks like a really nice compression. This is what I'm seeing here. So you got this kind of compression going on. You've been making like, we're squeezing down in here, and then we pop, and we're going to rest, and we should go higher if this is going to continue to rally. But as this candle comes in, it's like, oh, we're breaking down from that. Let me get in on this candle. Let's go see what the price is on this candle. And yes, it's still above the 10. We're not really looking at the 10, but that was this candle, right? 1139. So that candle closes at 190. What was that candle? Yeah, 1139. So this candle closes at 190. So you could have had that set up, buy at 2, which would have filled on the next candle or this same candle. Buy at 2, stop at 1, and see if that is going to continue to fail, or you lose an R if it does continue to rally. But this was a nice one where you could have been in at 2, and then probably getting out around like 6 or so, where you had some resistance on the put over here. If you want to try and hold as high as you can, I mean, and then this had a pretty quick like V-shaped pattern where it just totally reversed. So that was this. Or you could have waited to have a bull candle closing below the 10 and getting in on this candle. That would have been right at noon. So buying the put right at noon on this one. Let's see, the range on this was $1.01, but this is what happens with options. Even though the range is that much, the high is 410, the low is 3. The very next candle has the same low of 3. So it's kind of like, okay, actually these three candles had a low 295, 3, and 3. So you could have tried to buy the low of this candle and then stop down at 2. So buying at 3, stop at 2. I don't know if that would have filled, but getting in at 3 and then a target up at 6 is still a really nice move. That's still 3R. Or you can look at an option a little further away if you want to have the range on this candle be a little lower or get your low below here. But really you want to mainly get your stop on the other side of the 10. Ideally with like some level in between, that would be way up here. So that's kind of far away. But it's moving back towards at the money. We bounce pretty close to 37.50. So that's a good reason to look at the 37.50 put. And then, yeah, later in the day, there were some rallies through here as well. There are other opportunities to get into other calls a little closer. So if we look at 37.75, we can see we had some lows really similar to earlier. Actually, these were really wicky. This came back down to the low of 4, 330, 339. So this came into a really similar low from the open also. The open and the retest and later in the day all came back below, just below 4, and a stop at 3 would have worked. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking at the 37.80 strike, just trying to figure out, okay, how could you have gotten into something with a price similar and then have a little more range, but this one came down to 2 when this one stayed above 3. So maybe buying this blindly at 2, that would have been risky to do that. I do like to kind of watch for those where, okay, it's coming back sharply. Where could this bounce if the option is going to bounce? The option is trying to go to 0 if it's out of the money. But expect it to take out like a previous low like this. So like if we take out 4 pretty nicely, we came down to 330 here in the low. Don't look to buy at 3 because you're just going to get in and you'll have knocked out a bunch of the people who bought here if you're getting in at 3 because they'll have their stop below this end if they got into it here. So go a little lower to buy. So buy at 250 or buy at 2. I was figure out your own pricing, but kind of seeing how much lower you can buy an option. I'll do that sometimes too. So that helps with a nice setup. But then this had a really nice. This was really choppy. The lows kept coming back down here, but it ended up closing in the money and quite a bit higher. It was making a new high at the end of the day. Just didn't get this option price back that much higher. But there are some other kind of patterns in this option too. So we were making slightly lower highs, kind of holding the low, or possibly making, if you ignore that wick, slightly lower highs. And then depending on how you draw this, you could say, okay, that was retesting, here and then here back into this, so that, if you think of it in terms of, how things move, this is public participation, then this is distribution, then actually this becomes another like public participation here, or this is public participation and this is accumulation. So you had a move up, distribution, move down, and then accumulation through here. So it's cleaner on the option, I think, than it was on the stock through here, but you can kind of draw some similar things. You had kind of that channel there, you had the move up, the move down, and then you had kind of a increasing angle here like this. So it wasn't, you didn't really go sideways anywhere through this, but that was just increasing. So anyway, we've got 2 bull days in a row. Last time we did 2 in a row was this, and we had a really sharp sell off the next day. We have put in more than that. The last time we had a gap up between 2 bull candles was this, and then we had a third one, and then we crushed lower. I don't know what it's going to turn into, but you look at how many bears are hurting right now. Like, I was kind of thinking through this. We just gapped right over this range. I'm just gonna push this over here. I don't want to like stretch it. There you go. That looks about the same. So we totally gapped over that range. This was our resistance range. And then we rolled down. But if you think about it, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bear candles. Let me step back. This a little differently. With these 3 candles, we came right back up to that on bull day. So 3 bear candles were nearly taken out with a single bull day here. Now we've got 5 bear candles taken out with 2 bull days. I mean, we did the same kind of thing here. We had 5 bear candles here taken out. It took 3 bull days. So this day we actually took out the high over here. So we did that in 2 days. This is a little too fast. Like this is really quick to come up this far, this fast, trapping so many bears. But you think about it, the bears just went sideways through here for so many days. I think this is more of like a dead cat bounce. I don't know how much higher it's going to go. We've got some levels in here. These green lines that I had drawn in before, back to where we had some triangles going on these days. So I got to look back at those levels and see what's going on. But that's kind of the next resistance we're going to run into, as well as like the low on this candle. This is our last pivot. You know, this is the last low we put in. We could entirely run back up to like the 3,900. If we get another nice strong bull candle, let's see, this is almost a Rabozu. So the open and the low are shaved bottom, and then the high and the close are within $1 of each other. So we are, you know, it's almost Marbozu candle, and it's just rallying. Last time we did something in this range, we didn't have that kind of strength. We had a lot of wicks. Let's see, we had this candle. This was similar. We gapped up from a bull candle, had a nearly shaved bottom. No, that was a shaved bottom. A little more selling at the close. Gapped down and then still rallied and came back. So we had some bull candles come in, 5 of them come in. It took that 5th one to take out some of the bearishness back here. I'm just kind of framing this to look at, okay, where do we have, okay, so we have these 5 bear candles taken out with these 2 bull candles. And then we had these 5 taken out. Oops, didn't mean to jog that. There we go. That was taken out with the 3rd one. We had like these 3 bear candles taken out with the 5th one here. It took a while to get these taken back out. There's a lot of chop through here. Not as many bear candles as you expected that going that far sideways. And then it was finally this candle that actually took out the bears. So just looking at when were bears taken out, but also like when on the way down, and you gotta zoom out a little bit more to see when else that's happened recently. So, you know, that's kind of the framework. We've been going down, we've been making lower highs. You know, this could be a rally because we've been here earlier in the year, but we made new lows. How high could this go? Potentially back up to like 4,000. We've got the 100 here at, what's the price? 39.61. So, I mean, we could totally rally to that and then roll over. We didn't really pause there before. It was over here we paused, then over here we paused. So that was another time we rallied back. We made a high. We're kind of rolling down, retrace back into the moving averages. So it's entirely possible to get back up there. I don't know. Let's see what tomorrow holds, see if we're going to get back into some other levels. But we had some strength, so it would not surprise me if we actually gapped down, trapped some of the bulls getting in late today, and didn't get out today thinking, oh, it's just going to continue to go. Well, one thing we could do is look back at the options. So, okay, looks like we don't have, oh no, this one expired. Can't get this one because it's expired. Let's look at tomorrow's. Let's see, 3,800. What's that doing? Okay, so that's dropped down a little bit from where it closed. Oh, a lot of it. Let's see. So we'll have to, yeah, this will be something to do in the morning. I'm gonna have to use this. 3,850. That's back down. or as it's back near these lows. So this is one 38.50. If we do get a gap up in the morning, look to just have an order set up to buy at $1 and see if you can flip it out for a few R. If it will contend with the highs here. That would be similar to what we did today with the 3,800, right? So yesterday we didn't have much of a move on this, but then today we had the bigger move. So I have to figure out, how do I read previous day, and then when we have a move that's going to, get going and a gap up, what does that look like for the next day? So I'm just figuring this out as we go. So I'll continue to dig in and see what more of that can help us to kind of diagnose things. But keep an eye on this in the morning and see, well, not this option, but tomorrow's expiration. See how this may help things. So we'll figure it out. Hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.